Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear and see me okay? If you guys can, just let me know. Let's see. Okay, looks like I'm streaming. Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is The Advocate, and today I'm an advocate for a March stream, a March 6th live stream as we go over the state of the channel, the state of the current BookTube Advocate channel, where things are, how far we've come along, where we're here to go. Yeah. So, all right, I'm just checking my volume here. Let me know if you guys are in the chat. Let me know if the sound sounds good to you, if everything sounds good to you. Yeah, just let me know. I think all my analytics look good here. I don't know why I'm struggling here, but not struggling, but OBS is giving me issues here where it's like, it's saying go live, but it's not actually live on OBS, but it's live on YouTube. So I'm not sure what's going on, but anyway, hopefully you guys are able to see me okay. Here, I'll type in something in the chat. Are you able to hear and see me okay? There we go. Cool. So yeah, state of the channel. I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up to what's been going on here in the BookTube Advocacy channel, what I've got going on, what I plan to have got going on. First and foremost, thank you all so very much for the month of February for this BookTube Advocate channel being basically the best in terms of analytics and basically all the analytics you can think of, views, likes, all that stuff, subscribers. It was the best month for me on this channel. So thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your support this month of February. Hopefully we're able to kind of carry that momentum as we carry off through the rest of the year. Most of that probably has to do, most of the good analytics probably have to do with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms live streams, kind of bringing in a potentially new audience into this channel, which if you're here if you visited this channel because of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms live streams, I thank you all so very much for checking out this channel and for your support. Oh, what is this? Something is going on. Oh my gosh, I'm just having errors after errors here on this stream. Let me know if you guys, it's saying that the stream status is poor. And I'm like, uh-oh, hopefully you guys are able to. Currently, I've got 0 viewers, so no one's really here to tell me any otherwise. But hopefully the stream is okay. For those of you who are coming into the stream after the fact, hopefully this is not annoying that I'm doing just a bunch of kind of stream checking here. The current which is not supported for this current. Oh well, I'll just leave this error alone. It doesn't look like I can change anything about this, so whatever. So yeah. Anyway, a lot of my analytics that happened, the good analytics that happened in February were because of the End of the Seven Kingdoms live streams. I really got a couple of people to thank. I have the Voice of Old Town to thank. I've got the Grease Goblins to thank, and I've got Becky Does Blogs to thank. As all four of us kind of coming together to collab on our thoughts with each episode of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms as they were released each Sunday, having that discussion, that conversation. First of all, it was a ton of fun, and I absolutely enjoyed it, but it also potentially exposed me to a new audience. So if you came through that, thank you guys so very much. And thank you guys. Thank you, Grease, Voice, and Becky as well for just being amazing people to talk to. I think those live streams were a lot of fun. I wasn't able to be around there for that last live stream for that final Sunday, but learn how to customize this bot here. Oh, okay, I've got a Stream Elements bot here chatting here. So yeah, cool. I didn't know Stream Elements provided a bot. But anyway, yes. So thanks guys for making the conversation so much fun. I thought it was a ton of fun to be able to discuss each episode as it came out. I know I wasn't able to be there for the final episode of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms with all four of us, but I was able to kind of bounce my thoughts off with the Grease Goblins. Hey, Metal Maz, good to see you here. Thanks for stopping by, man. Let me know, Maz. Let me know if you are able to hear and see me okay. If the stream is jittering. I keep getting these errors here on my YouTube live stream that say that that the thing is not going very well. So hopefully you're able to hear and see me okay. I can hear you fine. Okay, hopefully it's not jittering, or hopefully it's not so far. Thanks, Metal Maz. How are you doing today, Metal Maz? Good morning. Good to see you, good sir. So anyway, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms live streams were a ton of fun. And then as far as what we've got going on for the remainder of the year, So I previously did, during the watch throughs of the United Seven Kingdoms live streams, I also did a book review on Dying of the Light, which is George R. R. Martin's debut novel, his first full-length novel that he ever wrote. I did a book review on it, so if you want to hear my full thoughts on it, it's on this YouTube channel as well. But I thought, all in all, it was a book that actually, as time has gone on, it's a book that stuck with me more than I initially realized how much it would stick with me. It's not my favorite, and on my first read through, I was a little bit bored by it during fair stretches of that book. But I thought it was it was an interesting book that definitely let me know of better things to come yet for George R. R. Martin in terms of his writing style and his bibliography. So, but as far as like the content itself goes, the thoughts and ideas and themes that were present within were pretty deep and have definitely stuck with me, even though we're like a month to a month and a half removed from me reading that book. So despite me maybe not being my favorite book, I still liked it. So, you know, we'll see how things pan out for the final rankings for my top 10 books I've read in 2026 when it comes time to rank all the books I've read and where Dying of the Light kind of falls in that ranking system. In addition to that, I've recently finished reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I finished reading it last week, I finished reading it this week. And yesterday I actually recorded my full book review on this book. I currently intend to today potentially edit my book review video on this and have it out for you guys, hopefully finished by next Friday, March 13th, just in time for the release of the Project Hail Mary movie starring Ryan Gosling based on this book. Based on just Hollywood's lovely track record when it comes to completely destroying and butchering book source material, I'm not holding my breath that the movie will capture the entertainment and just the fun of this book onto screen very well. I'm thinking there's going to be some jank in there, so I'm kind of keeping my expectations in check, but I'm still looking forward to watching that movie, the Project Hail Mary movie, and hopefully it adapts this book very well. So if you guys have read Project Hail Mary, or if you're excited for the Project Hail Mary movie, definitely let me know down in the comments section, or I guess not comments, definitely let me know. Hope you're in the chat somewhere, and I'll definitely, we'll talk about it. But anyway, expect a book review on this next Friday, March 13th, and then Friday, March 20th, I'm hoping to also have a review for the movie out, because I want to watch the movie on the midnight release, which is 6 p.m. Here, they're showing the midnight release is actually 6 p.m. the day before. So 6 p.m. Thursday, I want to go to the first ever viewing, the first ever showing for Project Hail Mary to watch the movie and then provide you guys a movie review on it so that it's still topical and, give you guys my thoughts to see how it compares to the book. Metal Mads, I'll check that book out. I've been looking for a good one to try. Yeah, it's a great book. If you get the chance, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely enjoyed my time with it. So, well, I'm spoiling my thoughts on the book review that's coming up next Friday, but it was a very entertaining read. I very much enjoyed it. And so, yeah, if you need a great book to read, then definitely check it out. Allison Talks Books. Oh my gosh. I just watched your video this morning. Thank you so much. I read that one when it came out. Maybe I should do a reread before seeing the movie. I think that'd be great. I think it'd be great to, I'm not sure what your thoughts were, Allison, on, by the way, thanks for coming to this channel. Good morning. Hope you're doing very well. I'm not sure what your thoughts were on this particular book when you first read it, when it first came out, because I believe it came out in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe your thoughts will have changed in the past 4 years. This is my first ever Andy Weir book that I've ever read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not sure, Allison, if you read The Martian, or Maz, if you've read The Martian as well. I have not, so this is my first ever exposure to Andy Weir's bibliography, but I thought it was a lot of fun, so we'll see how well the movie adapts it. But Allison, I think that's a great idea. Maybe check out the book before the movie gets released. Oh, no, just saw the movie? Oh, like you're just seeing the movie. Oh, you just saw the movie The Martian. Gotcha. Okay. How was the movie The Martian? I've not watched it. Matthew McGinty. Dude, thanks for stopping by on this channel. Thank you so much. Hey, Advocate, I really enjoyed your coverage of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Thank you so much. Those live streams with the Grease Goblins, Becky Does Blog, and Voice of Old Town were a ton of fun to do, and I enjoyed. I think honestly that was my best. The thing I was looking forward to the most every Sunday night. I enjoyed the United of the Seven Kingdoms TV show, and I think for the most part it adapted the book pretty well. Not to say that the show needs to be 100% faithful to the book, but I thought it was a very wonderful show to watch for the most part. But the thing I definitely was looking forward to the most during those every Sunday was basically just conversing with my friends and discussing our thoughts on the show more so than the show itself, even though the show was still good. I liked it, but I probably forgot some details. Okay. No spoilers here for me then, but I don't read much sci-fi. The thing I could compare this to, so I read Three Body Problem, Remembrance for Its Past, the entire trilogy. I've read The Archivist, but I haven't read, outside of that, I don't think I've read too much sci-fi. So this is coming probably from a person who, I like sci-fi, but it's not something that I have an expansive bibliography experience, like literary experience on. So maybe I like people who are more into the weeds of sci-fi, who have read more sci-fi. Maybe to them, this is probably like one of the lesser sci-fi books, but as someone who is more of a casual sci-fi reader, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So if you definitely get a chance to reread it, I definitely would be keen to hear your thoughts, Allison. I think they'd be really, really cool. Metal Maz, I liked it fine. It was decent. I could see how the book could better capture a feeling of isolation and desperation, though. Yeah, that's one of the big things with movie or TV show adaptations of books. So in books, you have substantially more page time. You have substantially more opportunities to really invest in a singular solitary character. Because I imagine The Martian, similar to Project Hail Mary, just follows one POV character, and I imagine it's first person. I have not read the book, but I imagine the movie is the same way, where it just follows one person. But whereas in a book, you're able to gather the internal thoughts and the internal monologues of our main character that we follow. In a movie, it's not so hard. It's a lot harder to do because you have to keep a theatrical audience and a movie watching audience engaged. So the things that would ordinarily be internal monologues have to be like spoken out loud for the viewing audience. And so I imagine there is some difficulty in trying to capture the isolation that you have in a book with, translating that into a movie. But even despite that, I hope it was able to be a good time. I know you said you liked it fine. It was decent. Hopefully if you do watch Project Hail Mary, you have a much better time with Project Hail Mary than you do with The Martian. And I would be keen to see as well if the Project Hail Mary movie also captures the isolationism that the book has, as well as potentially the Martian book did. We'll see. I actually have not watched the trailer for Project Hail Mary. I don't recommend anyone watch the trailer if you haven't read the book. Apparently it spoils lots of things. I have no intention of, even though I've read the book, I still want to go into the movie as fresh as possible. So I don't want to watch the trailer, but if you're watching the movie, if you're intending on watching the Project Hail Mary movie, I don't recommend watching the trailer if you haven't read the book. So we'll see. But anyway, so we've got Project Hail Mary for this month of March. And then after that, I'm currently reading another, what you could call a sci-fi. And that is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I have no idea if I pronounced Amal's last name incorrectly or correctly. I am so sorry to the author. But This Is How You Lose the Time War. I started reading it on Tuesday. So I haven't really had much time to read it. I've only had maybe 30 minutes each day to read. But I'm currently on page 74 of this book. And it's been, again, I don't want to give too much away because similar to Project Hail Mary, I will have a book review on This Is How You Lose the Time War out later this month, potentially either late March or early April, just depending on how things go. But it's been a very interesting read through. I will say, I don't want to see, this is the problem. I want to say my thoughts without spelling out all my thoughts and potentially ruining the video's watch time for whenever we make a book review video on this book. It's a very interesting book, but I don't think it's for me. And that's all I want to elaborate on. But if you like outside the box books that delve more into, well, I don't want to spoil. But essentially, I was hoping that there would be more Time War shenanigans and more sci-fi shenanigans, and there isn't. And so I'm a little bit disappointed by it, but I can accept that it has more to do with my own personal bias and my own personal expectations, less so on the quality of the book itself. But anyway, I'm still not finished. I'm only 74 pages through, so I'm only a third of the way through this book. So as soon as we finish this book, maybe my thoughts will change and I'll give you guys my full book review thoughts on this book as well. So This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. And then after that, we are in a Dungeon Crawler Carl release year, similar to how virtually every year since 2021 has been the Dungeon Crawler Carl year. Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 8 is set to be released this May. It will be, I believe, the final book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I've currently only read the first 2 books of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. The first more so than the second, but even despite that, I still enjoyed them. So my plan after Project Hail Mary and after This Is How You Lose the Time War is to delve back into the Dungeon Crawler Carl series and read as much as I can from the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, starting from book 3, hopefully in time for the release of book 8. I don't have confidence in myself that I'll be able to read books 3 through 7 just in time for the release of book 8. Something tells me I'll probably only get to book 5 before book 8's release, but we'll see how far we get. But I'm looking forward to delving back to the series. I think it's a lot of fun. If you guys have not checked out the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, I think it's worth checking out, especially if you love video games and just zany humor. It is such a great time, at least from my own personal biased video game loving perspective anyway. I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 Dungeon Crawler Carl books. So if you have not checked those out, I definitely recommend that. And sorry guys, I'm checking my phone because I've got all my notes for what I want to cover on this live stream. And by the way, guys, if you're in chat, thank you so much for sticking around. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on any of the books I've mentioned thus far in this live stream, or any books you guys are currently reading. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on any books you're checking out, anything you're currently watching as well. I'd love to hear from you guys. And then after that, I have right here Wuthering Heights, the literacy/movie controversy. So Wuthering Heights, as you all may know, recently saw a movie adaptation being released to movie theaters. Allison, I like the third one more than the second one. You'll probably enjoy it. It's train themed. Okay. I'm excited. See, I think that it's probably my own personal bias because I love video games and I also love trains. So the fact that we've got, the video game RPG mechanics from the first 2 books, in addition to now incorporating trains into the story, I feel like I'll really love that. So it's just pushing all the right buttons with me. That's oh, I enjoy that. Oh, I enjoy that. So if the third one delves into trains, I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate your recommendation. I'm excited to delve into book 3. But yes, Wuthering Heights recently saw a movie release. I've not watched the movie. I've actually not read the book in years. The last time I read it was actually in high school when it was part of our book reading program during my high school years. And again, this was back when I was a younger reader. This was back when I was a younger person. So perhaps if I reread Wuthering Heights now that I've got more books under my belt, now that I'm a more older, I guess, quote unquote, more experienced reader, I might enjoy Wuthering Heights more. But I just recall my first ever time and only time that I read Wuthering Heights back in high school, I just did not enjoy it whatsoever. I was incredibly bored by it. I did not understand it. This old Victorian style English, it just was not, or I don't even know if it was Victorian style. It was old style English. It just kind of flew over my head. I just did not understand. I was so bored. And the parts that I did get, I just recall Heathcliff, the character of Heathcliff, I just did not like him whatsoever. It's wow, this person's a really unlikable person. Why am I supposed to like this book again? This is really boring. However, now, it's been some years since I've been removed from high school. So now that I've got more, I guess, literary experience since then, and now that I'm more adept at picking up on nuance and more, well, I'm sounding like a snob, but I've definitely grown in my reading experience, I like to think, since then. I'd be keen to reread Wuthering Heights to see what I think of it now. But I as far as the movie goes, I've heard even people who loved the book, I've not watched the movie, but even people who loved Wuthering Heights, I've heard that the movie was just such an awful adaptation of the book. So I don't even know if I'd watch this movie. But I'd be interested to reread the book if there's interest from you guys, and just to kind of see, if my thoughts have changed over time since I last read it back in high school. Allison, I wouldn't force yourself to read it again if you don't like that kind of thing. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte is better anyway. Oh, really? You know, I've heard wonderful things about Jane Eyre all the time. My wife, she actually loves Jane Eyre. She's actually like, why don't you read, like Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice and War and Peace instead of reading A Game of Thrones and Brandon Sanderson and Joe Abercrombie? And I'm like, I could if you wanted me to. The Game of Thrones and Brandon Sanderson and Joe Abercrombie is so much more fun. Why would I want to read Old English? But I mean, it is good to have more variety in our reading experience. And so like reading, there is definitely a lot of value in reading older classics. So I should probably read more older classics. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my list here. So let's do Jane Eyre by Bronte. Cool. Thank you so much, Allison. And if you have any other recommendations for books I need to read, and you guys in chat as well, if you guys have any other recommendations for other books I need to read, definitely let me know. Maz, I was the same way with so many books back in high school. Have you read The Devils by Joe Abercrombie? Yeah, so it's also one of those things where it's like when you're forced to do something, there's just not just with books, but with anything in life, when you're forced to do something, you're automatically already going to have less enjoyment going in rather than if it's your own personal choice. So like, it's like, oh, I have to, I don't know, like if you're in school, it's like, oh, I gotta, analyze these protons or whatever. Like this is, I don't know, I'm just making up something off the top of my head. I have to look at these protons and electrons. Oh, why would I want to do that? Oh, like I just want to play video games. This is so boring. Like when you're forced to do that, as opposed to like when it's a genuine passion, a genuine interest of yours, it's like, look at this tree. I wonder what the molecular breakdown of this tree is. And then you actually go on your own time and research that. It's more fun. You're automatically going to enjoy it more. So there definitely is something to the fact that when you're forced to do something such as for school, like reading, a set number of books or a set book that you maybe are not super interested in, or maybe you would be interested in if you weren't forced to read it, but maybe the time is just not right, or maybe just it's not something that comes naturally to you because you're forced to do it. It's not as fun. So that probably has a lot to do with it as well. Because it was part of a high school curriculum, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it automatically. It would have been the same thing with the Game of Thrones. Like if I was forced to read a Game of Thrones in high school, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as if I seeked it out on my own, like I wound up doing. So it's probably right. But Maz, I recall you asking this question last time if I've read The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I have not. I have still not. I really want to read. So I've read the entire First Law trilogy. I want to read the Second Law trilogy as well. I want to essentially read Joe Abercrombie's bibliography prior to picking up his newest release, The Devils. I just haven't had time. I really haven't had time. And the time that I do have, I'm dedicating to the books that I've already got set for my TBR for 2026. I would love to check out The Devils, but it's one of those things where I might not be able to check it out for another 2 years. But if it's something that really interests you, and it's something that really interests, I hate to look at things through this capitalistic YouTube analytics lens, but I really want to grow this channel. So I've definitely been trying to make more of an effort to see what would be more of interest to you guys. If there is huge interest in The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, I definitely would be keen to check it out. I think just at this time, I haven't really seen super interest. And the First Law trilogy books that I made content on, that I made videos on, just did not do well at all. So I would like to check it out, but maybe just not anytime soon. But we'll see. Things could change. And yeah, the First Law trilogy is so good, Maz. It's so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Who was your favorite character from the First Law trilogy? And why is it not Sandan Glokta? I gotcha. I was a few chapters in, but it didn't hook me in, so I put it down for a bit. Are you referring to The Devils by Joe Abercrombie? Or are you referring to a different book? Let me know. Matthew McGinty, I just finished Abercrombie's sequel trilogy and it was much better than the original. Okay, cool. Really? That's so good to hear. I enjoyed the First Law trilogy for the most part. I will admit that the strongest aspect about the First Law was definitely the characters. Like the characters were peak. It is definitely a book that is characters first and then plot second. And although I enjoyed my time with First Law, I think I would have probably enjoyed it more if the plot was equal to characters instead of characters being not, I mean, the plot was also good, but it was clear that the characters were the strongest aspect about this story. And I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if maybe things were a little bit more balanced out here. But yeah, it was a good time. From my own, without going to spoilers, from my own personal experience, I did not enjoy, oh, I enjoyed, but the ending of the third one was a little too dark for my taste. But I also know that that comes from my own personal preference and my own personal philosophies. And just because my philosophy doesn't line up with an author's philosophy doesn't necessarily mean that a book is bad. And, you know, the depressing ending that we got at the end of the third book doesn't necessarily even reflect, maybe not, doesn't even reflect Joe Abercrombie's own philosophy, but I just found it too dark for my taste. I did not like the ending. It was a bold ending, but I just did not like it. So, but I'll check out the second Law trilogy. It's good to hear it's better. So, Allison, my next book to read in the fantasy sci-fi realm is After the Fall by Edward Ashton. He's the author of Mickey 7 That Got That Movie. I know it's something about humans being made into pets. I like how you said something, as it's like, you know, it might be something about this, but I'm just going into this book knowing as knowing as little as possible, which is awesome. Like, I love that. I think that's the best way to go into books, with not knowing really much about it, just hearing good things about it and being like, all right, I don't even want to know what the summary is. I'm just going to go in and read and formulate my own opinions and discover the plot on my own. I think that's really cool. But let me add those books here. Let's see. After the Fall by Edward Ashton. Cool. And actually, I've not read Mickey 7 either. So I'll go ahead and add Mickey 7 to my TBR. So thank you for the recommendations, and let us know how you like that book. I'd be keen. Allison, you have some great content, by the way. I love your videos. I love your videos. I think it's they're very informational, very knowledgeable. I think that style of content where it's video essays about books, I think is super interesting, because definitely, like, I love book reviews, but they definitely have more of a niche audience, where even though we're trying to target people who, you know, haven't read this particular book but want to check it out, more often than not, the people that check out reviews on a particular book are people who have already read those particular books, less so a new audience that hasn't yet checked those books out. So the video essays that you cover are so broad, but at the same time, while they're broad, they're very informational on the subjects you research. And I don't know, I find them very engaging. So you do a lot of great work. So I look forward to seeing all your future video essays on your channel. And by the way, guys, definitely check out Allison Talks Books. She's got some great content for sure. Metal Maz, yes, The Devils. About the book that you could only get a few chapters into. Okay, so maybe less recommendation to check it out compared to potentially other books. It's good to know. I do love Sand and Glocta, what with his wit and gallows humor. I think my favorite was Logan Nightfingers, cliche as it sounds. Actually, that's not cliche whatsoever. Most people that I talk to actually prefer Glocta as their favorite character. I don't hear very often people say Logan Nightfingers is their favorite, but that's an interesting pick, actually. It's not cliche at all. And this might be something that could be answered in the sequel trilogy. Spoilers. Okay, if you have not read the first Law trilogy, just skip ahead or mute this for like the next 10 seconds. In the first Law trilogy, I wish his Jekyll and Hyde personality was more explored in the first Law trilogy, and I was disappointed that it wasn't. However, it could be one of those things that we delve more into in the sequel trilogy, where we find out why Logan has this kind of bipolar Jekyll and Hyde personality. So we'll see. But all right, the spoiler's over. But if it gets explored more in the sequel trilogy, I'd be more keen to read the sequel trilogy. So we'll see. We'll see. There is more plot in the sequel trilogy. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, wow. Maybe I need to read the second Law trilogy sooner rather than later. I didn't know there was a sequel trilogy. I'll look into it. Yeah, there is. I've read it, Allison. Oh, awesome. It seems like everyone here is a fan of the sequel trilogy, the second Law trilogy. All right. I'll go ahead and add it. Again, one of the reasons that I haven't checked it out, and I hate that I'm thinking this way, but because I'm in this, I want to grow this channel mentality, I am unfortunately looking at YouTube through this capitalistic lens where it's like, what gets the views, which is unfortunate. I don't want to look at it that way, but it's like the devil you know, or the devil you don't know, or whatever. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I just have to maybe suck it up and just do it, and be like, all right, well, let me check out what's popular and what's not popular. And it sucks that I have to view YouTube that way, but I've had to recently. But who's to say? I don't necessarily have to be tied down to what is popular with the algorithm. Maybe I'll check out the Second Law trilogy and it'll do really, really well. So, and I mean, that's not the reason you should read books. You should read books because you enjoy them and it's something that interests you, not so much because, oh, it'll do well on YouTube. But anyway, Second Law trilogy, Joe Abercrombie. Go ahead and add it. By the way, every time I type in Abercrombie on my iPhone, the autocorrect will want to switch it to Abercrombie's, and I'm like, no, it's Abercrombie. I don't know why it does that, but I guess Abercrombie's might be more popular in my iPhone's lexicon. So anyway, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, like, so this YouTube channel has been a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because I love, it's gotten me to read more. It's gotten me to delve further into reading. And it's been so fun to read all these books and all these new books that I hadn't read in my prior years when I was younger. And it's been so cool just being able to read these books and also being able to converse with you guys, converse with other creators. I think that's honestly been the best aspect about it. But it's also been a curse because the YouTube algorithm, and I make the algorithm sound as if it's this evil entity that kind of consumes all creators. But in a way, it is a little bit of an enigma where, unfortunately, YouTube does encourage you to kind of stick to a lane and stay on it. So because I check out fantasy sci-fi books, that is the lane that the YouTube algorithm expects of me. But if for some reason I ever one day decide to check out a romance or decide to check out a murder mystery, which, by the by, I really love murder mysteries. The audience that I've currently cultivated, well, not me, but that YouTube thinks that would be interested in my content, which is fantasy and sci-fi readers, if they see something that is kind of a little bit, quote unquote, outside the box, then it might recommend it to them, but those people would not be as keen to click because they might not be as interested in that genre, or YouTube just won't recommend it to them. And it's really frustrating because then YouTube essentially encourages you to niche down to a particular niche. And it's a little bit annoying. And so, like, I know that there's certain books that I want to read, but I just know they won't do well. And it's such a huge bummer. But I think still the gift of having this YouTube channel definitely outweighs the curse of potentially being tied down to a particular niche. And I know that I can read whatever books I want, but it's also my own selfish desire to grow the channel that I'm like, okay, well, I kind of do want to grow the channel. And what grows the channel? Oh, well, does A Song of Ice and Fire analysis grow the channel? Or does my breakdown of, I don't know, some romance mystery thriller do that? So, but I don't know. I should read more voraciously of different varieties of books, not just be tied down to a particular genre. Matthew McGinty, Abercrombie also wrote 3 standalone books set in the First Law universe, and they are excellent. Yes, I'm aware of those. So he wrote the First Law trilogy, and then did he write the sequel trilogy immediately after the First Law trilogy, or did he write the First Law trilogy and then write those standalone books and then delve into the Second Law trilogy? I definitely would be keen to read all of them before reading The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. So yeah, I'm excited. So thanks for all the wonderful chats, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Delving back into my list of live stream topics that I have here. So a lot of you who are on this channel, I imagine you discovered this channel based off of either the A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms live streams that I did with the Grease Goblins, Becky This Blog, and Voice of Old Town this past month and a half, or based off of the summary breakdowns of each book within the A Song of Ice and Fire series, which were a ton of fun. Like, maybe the recording and editing is a little bit more strenuous than I'd like to admit, but the finished product I am very proud of. But what I've been doing recently, and this is not going to be released anytime soon, but what I've been doing recently is I've been compiling all the summaries together with the expectation and idea that I will either release it in time for the 30th anniversary of A Game of Thrones, released on August 1st, 1996. So this would be something for August 1st, 2026, or potentially earlier. Release a full compiled 7.5 to 8 hour summary of every single book, well, of the 5 main books within the Song of Ice and Fire series. This would essentially just be the 5 summaries that I have already on this YouTube channel stitched together into one. However, I am going back through each summary and fixing all the mistakes, essentially re-editing the entire video, or re-editing all 5 summaries in order to get you guys a more complete, more correct, and better compiled summary of all 5 summaries. And it's kind of having going back to the initial summaries where I make so many mistakes and I say way too many times, and having to edit that out or spacing out the conversation so that I'm not speaking too quickly has been very annoying. But I am looking forward to seeing that finished product once it's up on YouTube. We have a full 7.5 to 8 definitive hour summary of the entire Song of Ice and Fire series, of the first 5 books anyway. And again, I don't know when that will be released, potentially either August 1st, 2026, to time it with the 30th anniversary of A Game of Thrones, or potentially earlier, but that is something I am currently working on piece by piece whenever I have free time and little by little. So definitely look forward to that and more updates to that. Standalones are before the sequel trilogy. Okay, good to know. So if the next Joe Abercrombie book, if I were to check out another Joe Abercrombie book, then the next one I would check out would have to be one of the standalones. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I'm definitely a person who likes to read chronologically. So if the chronological release order of the books was the First Law trilogy followed by the standalones, then the standalones would be next. So I would definitely read the standalones. That would be fun. Oh, thank you, Maz. I used to make cooking videos. I know it's night and day looking at old videos and seeing small mistakes you make while editing or talking. Yes, that is one of the things about, which was not necessarily just about YouTube, but just about anything. Like, you look back at your earlier work, whether that's cooking, whether that's making YouTube videos, whether that's streaming, or just what have you. Anything that you've done prior that you've since grown and developed more experience in any field, you look back at your earlier works and you're like, oh, like there's aspects of it where you can see kind of a diamond in the rough, but then there's other aspects where it's like, oh, this is really rough. Like this needs a lot of work. So going back and fixing all that rough, like smoothing out all that roughness in order to make a more completed product for your modern day audience is a lot of work, but it's definitely rewarding to see yourself of who you were, prior and who you are now. And I imagine that same principle applies to, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, if you continue to develop and grow experience in cooking or in whatever hobby or interest that you may have, going 5 to 10 years in the future and, seeing yourself in the year 2036, 2041, and looking back on who you are here in 2026, you could also potentially see like, wow, like 2026 version of me was blah. Like, look at all the mistakes that person did. But now 2036, 2041 me is so much cooler and so much better. Which is good. Hopefully, the trajectory of your life is one that you continue to grow in as opposed to stagnate or potentially not grow. So yeah, it's a good time. But anyway, so the Song of Ice and Fire complete summary is what I want to work on for, that'll be like a huge video for this year. Potentially this summer is when I'll have that video out. And then in addition to that, I'm currently, there's other books that I want to cover throughout the year, but those I'd be more willing to change. But recently I bought, and again, I'm going to sound like such a, like, oh, really? Like, you're reading that book? Wow, how predictable. The Advocate. That's like a huge book amongst the YouTube algorithm. Of course you want to read that book, but I've actually wanted to genuinely read this book for the longest time. But yesterday I recently bought an illustrated hardcover edition of Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Now, I know the Red Rising trilogy just gets a lot of polarizing emotions and polarizing thoughts from a lot of people online, but one of my best friends, one of my really, really good friends, recommended this series to me for the longest time. And he's told me like, JC, The Advocate, you really got to read this book. What the heck are you doing? Why have you not read this book? And then he also told me that because he knows I have a BookTube channel, he refuses to watch my channel. He refuses to watch any video on my channel until I read and check out Red Rising. And I'm like, all right, well, that's motivation aplenty to check this series out. So yesterday I completed half the requirement, which was actually obtaining the book for Red Rising. So now I need to complete the second half, which is actually going in and reading the dang book and reading the series. So I'd be keen to read the books. I'd be keen to read the series. I'm very much looking forward to it. I know Becky from Becky Does Blog, she did not like the first book, or she liked it, but she didn't think it was that great, the first book. So I'm going in with tepid expectations on the first book, but I've also heard that the second and third book, Golden Sun and Morning Star, are fantastic, out of this world books. So I'm super excited to delve into those. So it might be one of those things where I read Red Rising and maybe I don't enjoy it as much, but I have the anticipation and expectation that I will enjoy the second and third books, which if I read Red Rising, I intend on reading all 3 books in one go. So I'll have a review on Red Rising, then a review on Golden Sun, then a review on Morning Star, and then potentially a video kind of looking back on all 3 books and seeing where we go from there. But yes, I do want to read Red Rising this year. I am going to try to make that happen. I've got the hardcover illustrated edition, so we'll see what happens there. Real quick, I'm going to take a real quick water break here. Just there we go. Good water. My throat gets parched if I'm talking just nonstop for 20 to 30 minutes straight. So, good water. But yeah, so just to kind of summarize everything we've gone over. So today, live stream March 6th. Next Friday, March 13th, Project Hail Mary book review video. Friday after that, March 20th, Friday, a review on the movie of Project Hail Mary. Then the Friday after that, March 27th, I will either have a book review up for This Is How You Lose a Time War, or if the Project Hail Mary videos do really well, I might delve into like a book versus movie discussion video, potentially with Becky. I've not talked with her about this whatsoever. I'm just kind of talking off the cuff here. But if she watches the movie as well, because I know she recently read the book as well and she really loved the book, I might ask her to collab with me and do a book versus movie discussion on Project Hail Mary if there is interest from you guys. And also, more importantly, if she is up for it. I'm kind of just speaking off the cuff here. She might be watching this video far in the future and be like, what? I didn't accept this. I didn't agree to this. What are you talking about, JC? But that's a potential video right there. But if not, it'll be This Is How You Lose a Time War book review video. And then after that, we'll be delving into the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, books 3, 4, 5, as far as we can get before the release of book 8 for Dungeon Crawler Carl. And then, I actually have low expectations that I'll be able to get so many books done prior to book 8, but we'll see. And then, at some point I want to do a rankings list for those Dungeon Crawler Carl videos. As far as my other goal, I do have Red Rising on my TBR. And then I also have my goal of wanting to read all of George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire bibliography for this channel prior to the end of 2026. I've already read Fever Dream. I read Fever Dream last year. I read Windhaven. Oh, that's another one. I might... Becky's going to watch this video and she's going to be like, JC, what the heck are you talking about? I did not agree to any of this. What are you doing putting my name in your mouth? Like get your name out of my mouth. I need to talk to her about it, but I may reread Windhaven because I really would like to. Once she reads Windhaven, I'd be very keen to hear Becky's thoughts on Windhaven. And I would like to, I need to talk with her about this. I need to ask her first instead of just talking out loud before asking. But if she is up for it, if she has the time and availability, and of course she doesn't have to, this is completely, arbitrary, may not happen, but I would like to basically make a collab video with her where we discuss our full spoiler thoughts on the Windhaven book by George R. R. Martin. And she says she's going to finish the book by the end of this month and then do a live stream discussion on her thoughts on that book. So I'd be very keen to hear her thoughts there, but I also be very keen to hear her thoughts just on each novella individually of what she thought of the novellas within Windhaven. But that's an idea. I might reread it just to kind of freshen my mind, although it's relatively fresh because I just read it last year, but I might want to have that book even more fresh in my mind. So, but anyway, I've read Fever Dream. I've read Windhaven, potentially have a Windhaven collab with Becky. We'll see. And then I read Dying of the Light last month. So that's three out of the 6 A Song of Ice and Fire full-length books that George R. R. Martin has read. The other books that I want to read are Armageddon Rag, which is book 4, which I hope to read either late spring or early summer. We'll see. Tough Voyaging, which is another book that's a novella compilation similar to Windhaven. And then Hunter's Run, which is a collab book between George R. R. Martin, Garden Dozier, and I think Ty Frank from The Expanse. I have to kind of recheck who the authors are that collab on Hunter's Run, but I want to have all 6 books. I've read 3 of the 6 books, but I want to have all 6 books read prior to the end of the year so that I can finally say that by the end of 2026, I've read George R. R. Martin's, as far as his full-length novels go, George R. R. Martin's entire Nana Song of Ice and Fire bibliography by the end of 2026. And then after that, maybe do a rankings list of all 6 books. I might reach out to Bookborn about this. Here I go again, just kind of spouting people's names out loud without even coordinating or corroborating this information with them. I might reach out to Bookborn. I'd be very curious to see Bookborn's ranked thought. She's done a tier list on the Nana Song of Ice and Fire books by George R. R. Martin in the past, but I'd be very keen to do a rankings list as opposed to a tier list where Bookborn and I kind of rank the books and kind of, see how our rankings lists compare with each other. I'd be very keen to see that, but that is my hope for 2026, is to do the Nana Song of Ice and Fire books and to do a rankings list on the Nana Song of Ice and Fire books. So that is what we have. Obviously, we also have the Sunrise of the Reaping movie being released November of this year. Sunrise of the Reaping movie that is based off of the Sunrise of the Reaping book that was released last year. I've read the other Hunger Games books. I actually reread the Hunger Games books recently for this channel. I did reviews on all 3 books together for this channel earlier this year, but I would like to read Sunrise of the Reaping and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Probably Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes first, and then Sunrise of the Reaping by the end of the year, just in time for the Sunrise of the Reaping movie. So we'll see what happens there. So those are my thoughts for 2026. And yeah, what do you guys think about that? Let me know. By the way, I got to jet for like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I needed to go check on a puppy and see if they're doing well. My puppy's still asleep, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm not speaking too loudly and waking my puppy up, because the moment he wakes up, I'm going to need to take him out to do his business in the backyard, and like taking a 5 to 10 minute break for him to do his business and then chase after him in the backyard so that he gets back in the house after doing his business is not something I want to do in the middle of a live stream, but we'll see. So those are my plans. That's the state of this current BookTube Advocate channel. If you guys have any thoughts on any of the books or content ideas that I've put out here on this live stream, definitely let me know. Another thing that I've kind of been working on my own time, and this is separate from the channel, is since January of last year, since January 2025, I've been slowly, little by little, working on writing my own book. Matthew McGinty, will you be doing much coverage on House of the Dragon? Oh yes, I did not talk about that. Yes, the Grease Goblins, Becky Does Blog, Voice of Old Town, and myself, we will be checking out the Season 3 of House of the Dragon, which is set to release in June of this year. I am not as excited to talk about House of the Dragon Season 3. I'm just going to put that out there. It's not something I'm looking forward to. I'm very much looking forward to the live streams that are to come after each episode of House of the Dragon, but I'm not as excited about the episodes in particular, the season 3 episodes of the show. Metal Maz, hell yeah! Thanks for being excited. Yeah, I'm excited for the live streams too. It's just mainly the episodes I'm not as excited about. Oh man, but yes, we do have plans to cover each episode. The live streams afterward.
I'm going to try to attend all of them. So the only issue is that the House of the Dragon show will also be airing during the World Cup. And for me personally, the World Cup, just like most, like I imagine a majority of the World Cup is of higher priority than House of the Dragon, especially a lesser season of House of the Dragon. So there might be times where it's like, oh, I can't watch House of the Dragon right now. I'm watching like USA versus Mexico. Like this is way more important than the House of the Dragon. But I don't know. It's but yes, we do have plans to watch House of the Dragon. We do have plans to live stream House of the Dragon. I imagine there's lots of content that will come from that, such as like our thoughts on season 3 as a whole. You know, a lot of thoughts about the changes from the book to the TV show. That's pretty much a guarantee by this point. The show has deviated so hardcore from the books from Fire and Blood that it's already inevitable. It's going to be way different. We're probably going to crash out. The crash outs are probably going to be a lot of fun. So if you're excited about House of the Dragon season 3 and us covering it, definitely let me know. I'm in hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah to you writing your own book. But yeah, I'm excited for House of the Dragon season 3 in the live stream. Season 2 had its flaws. I hope they fix the pacing, but I'm still cautiously optimistic. That's a good mentality to have, Maz. That's a very mature, nuanced, balanced mentality to have. Instead of me who's just like, season 3, blah. But that's awesome. Like, yeah, it's probably going to be like, as far as like a show goes, hopefully it's a good TV show. I already don't have faith that the themes are going to match the thematic strength of Fire and Blood. Because even though Fire and Blood is a summary of the Dance of the Dragon's War and of everything that happened, you know, during the first 133 years first 137 years after Aegon's conquest, there's still some strong themes within that book. So even though it's a summarized story of events, it still has themes. I just don't have any confidence that those themes will translate well to this TV show, because they've already shown that they don't particularly care for George R. R. Martin's themes with season 2. But maybe as far as like an entertaining spectacle, I hope season 3 isn't as poorly paced and has less narrative flaws than season 2. But we'll see. It's a good thing to be cautiously optimistic. Look at it this way. It can't be worse than season 8. That's true. And even then, season 2 of House of the Dragon was not season 8 Game of Thrones bad. It had a lot of problems. It had a lot of stupid writing decisions, in my opinion, in my personal biased, subjective opinion. But yeah, it was not season 8 bad. I would say it was more like season 6 bad, or season 5 or season 6 bad. But yeah, it wasn't season 8 bad. And hopefully season 3 is not season. I have more confidence in season 3 than I do in season 2. So we'll see. But yes, I am writing my own book. I am 355 manuscript pages into the book. And for those of you who don't know, manuscript page is this like standardized format that you have to write your book in if you want to turn it into an agent or a publisher. We will see. Yeah, we will see. But essentially a manuscript page is 12 point Times New Roman font, 1-inch margins or 2.5 centimeters, 2.5 centimeter margins, 1-inch margins, and then 2-inch margin at the bottom, which is 5.4 centimeter margins at the bottom. And essentially 12 point Times New Roman font double spaced. And that's a manuscript page. I currently have 355 manuscript pages done of a first draft for the book that I am writing. And it's been a lot of fun to write. Like writing a book is not an easy thing. Like people who write I have so much more. It's definitely changed my mentality on books that I don't enjoy as much, because I see that like, okay, even though other authors may have written books that I don't enjoy, I see that they still poured a lot of effort, blood, sweat, and tears into their book, because writing is really, really hard. Like it's not just, writing stuff down, but it's making it come together cohesively. It's writing a lot. It's taking a long time of your day to write. It's not just write, but then going back and editing and rewriting and being like, oh, this doesn't sound right. Like what is going on here? Let me rewrite it. So it's a lot of that. But it's been a lot of fun. I currently have 355 pages of the book. I don't really want to spoil what my book is about just yet. But all I'll say on this is that I think I'm about 60% of the way through the book, through writing the book, of what's looking to be a potentially 550-page manuscript full-length book. I've got 90,000 words written so far, and typically publishers recommend that for a debut novel, you write only 80,000 to 100,000 words. So the fact that I've got 90,000 words and I'm only 60% of the way through writing my book doesn't pan out well for my publishing aspirations, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to get it down once I go back and edit, or maybe I'll find a publisher who's like, oh, heck yeah, like 130, 140,000 words. Yeah, give it to me, JC. Like I'm game for this. So it's given me a lot more respect for people who write a book, even though they might write a book that I don't necessarily enjoy. But the book that I'm writing is a speculative fiction book that follows 5 different POV characters. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I don't want to spoil too much about it, not until it's more complete and more ready. But when that time comes, I'd be excited to reveal, like, all right, this is the book that not that it'll be published, but this is the book that I'm writing that I hope to turn into an agent, that hope that agent turns into a publisher, that hope that publisher publishes it. Kind of going from there, those escalating steps of unlikelihood. But yeah, I'm super excited. I've got 355 pages written. It's still going to be a 550 to 600 page book. We'll see how it pans out, but I'm hoping I can find some time here and there for the next, I don't know, like 6 months to a year. Hopefully I'm finished by the end of the year to finish that book and then re-edit it and then go back and edit through it, kind of fix all the mistakes, revise, and then send it out to maybe a couple of beta readers who could review the book for me and see what's working for them and what's not working for them, so that I can then go back and edit and do some more revisions before finally sending it out to an agent and a publisher. Eric, hey, welcome. The Grease Goblins, everybody. Eric Gentry is here. Dude, thanks so much for coming, man. Hey, JC and Maz. Dude, so good to see you, Eric. How are you doing this fine morning? Or I guess in your time zone, it would be early afternoon. Good to see you, good sir. Good to see you. I'm almost an hour, like I'm pretty much wrapping up here this stream, but just a summarized thing of what I've spoken about, Eric, is essentially I just went over the content that I have for this next year, a lot of books that I'm planning on reading, a lot of books that I have read. I'm watching Project Hail Mary next weekend, or actually Thursday, March 19th, to see how it compares to the book, which, by the way, Eric, I'd be keen to hear your thoughts. If you don't get a chance to read this book, I'd be keen to hear your thoughts on the movie Project Hail Mary that's coming out in 2 weeks, to see what you think of it. I think you would actually really like this book and movie, but we'll see. But yeah, just doing a lot of that. And then I was also talking with the guys about how we, Grease, yourself, Becky, Voice, Ricky, and myself, we all plan on just crashing out during our season 3 live stream discussions of House of the Dragon. Those are going to be a ton of fun. The show, not so much, but the live streams afterward, I know it's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm just expecting so many crash outs. So I was just discussing with them how we're planning on doing that in June. It's going to be 8 episodes. So it's going to be 8 weeks of live streams. So I imagine the show will go from June through August. And yeah, it'll be a good time. Sounds good. And yeah, House of the Dragon season 3 might be interesting because I may be getting back into surgery this summer. Oh, okay. Dude, I hope the surgery goes well, man. I know you had been scheduling that for a while. Hopefully everything pans out well there, with surgery, and then also with just, insurance and finances and all that crap. It's a huge disaster here in the US. Oh my gosh, it's a huge mess here. And even if I don't know, and even if someone has this super bougie luxury insurance, it's still a scam. It's such a scam. It's awful, but I hope the surgery goes well, man. I hope you feel better. I hope it's able to finally, either fix the issues or at least, keep it to a point where you're able to move around better and do more of life rather than, what could potentially be the alternative. So yeah, man, best wishes on your surgery this summer, dude. And if I'm speaking too much on that, definitely let me know. I'll shut my mouth. I'm sorry if I'm saying something that's not meant to be for public audience viewing. Sorry about that, man. But yeah, still excited for House of the Dragon season 3. Oh yeah, it's a fusion spinal surgery on my lower 2 levels, so I'm not sure how long it will take to be back to normal. I will be in the hospital for 2 nights. Also, okay, I'm good. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Grease. And yeah, dude, spinal surgery. Ooh, that sounds intense, man. I'm sorry, man. Well, not sorry, but I hope it goes well. I hope it goes okay. I hope you make it through okay. I know you'll make it through okay, and you'll come back better and stronger than ever. You can be rebuilt into a stronger machine than what you were before. Yeah, Maz, I agree. Hopefully it goes well for Grease. But Yeah, and the only other thing that might potentially interest you, Greece, is I'm currently going through all my summary videos, the summary videos for the A Song of Ice and Fire series, and I'm compiling all of them together into a giant 7.5 to 8 hour summary video where it's essentially my 5 summary videos that I currently have on YouTube, but stitched together. And in addition to being stitched together, I'm re-editing the whole thing to fix all the mistakes I made in those first couple of summary videos, in addition to fixing a lot of my spoken dialect, because a lot of what I say is either not correct, or if it is correct, I say it in like a weird mumbly way, or I say like and too much. So I'm cutting out all the likes, I'm cutting out all the ums, all the uhs, all the filler words. I'm essentially going through this whole thing and re-editing this whole thing to make the most complete, definitive summary of the entire Song of Ice and Fire series. That is probably going to be a 7.5 to 8 hour video. Oh my gosh. But I'm hoping to time that out for the release. I'm hoping to time that with the 30th anniversary of A Game of Thrones on August 1st, 2026, which will be the 30-year anniversary of A Game of Thrones. Either that or potentially having it out a little bit earlier during House of the Dragon Season 3, but we'll see. Awesome. Also question, thanks, Grease. Who do you think would be a better hand for Aerys the First, Bloodraven or Maekar? Asking because I just recorded a video on it. Oh, okay, interesting. So are we talking book Maekar or show Maekar? Are we talking about show Maekar who doesn't know what a Trial by 7 is? Are we talking about show Maekar who like loses his son and doesn't give Dunk permission about who Egg is? Okay, book. Who do you think would be a better hand for Aerys the First, Bloodraven or Maekar? So I would say Maekar, but Bloodraven has magic abilities. Bloodraven gets stuff done. He is super slimy and he cheats to win and he's so just uncouth. Actually, that's hard. Because I mean, with Bloodraven, you do have that cheat code. He can cheat some arrows and make the arrows immediately hit their targets. So, you do have like a perfect targeting system with Bloodraven. So you never have to worry about losing a war with him. But at the same time, Maekar is a flawed character in the book as well, but he's like such a mature, or not mature, but he's like a very nuanced, endearing character. Oh, he's like a bound by honor. He would be very honorable. I think, okay. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think if you want to keep the throne you're currently at, Bloodraven would probably be a better hand. But if you want to be liked by the people, then Maekar would be a better hand. I'm on the fence because both I think have their strengths and weaknesses. Like Bloodraven was bad for domestic issues, but foreign policy-wise, he did great in stopping the Blackfires multiple times. He did. He cheated. He used magic and cheated. That's why he won. So Bloodraven, but yeah, for foreign policy, he's great. But for local politics, he is absolutely just an atrocious villain. Nobody likes him. I wouldn't like him. So he definitely, but people definitely live in fear of him. So I guess fear, it's not the best way to rule, but it is a way to rule. So, people wouldn't fear you, but Maekar would have the opposite problem where maybe people would be more keen, would respect Maekar more because he's a man of the people. Not a man of the people, but he's more of like a man you could relate to. But he also doesn't have the cheat code of using magic on arrows to make them hit their Daemon Blackfire targets. So I think probably in the short term, Bloodraven would be better. But in the long term, Maekar would be better. The issue with Maekar is I don't see him just letting the Greyjoys raid the West, which if he went to deal with it, leaves him wide open to be assaulted in the East by Aegor Rivers. Yeah, so again, when it comes to warfare, Bloodraven definitely has Maekar beat. I just think that with Maekar, you have less, well, with the exception of the Iron Islands, but within the realm, you have less potential rebellions. Aloha, Becky. How's it going? By the way, Becky, if you rewatch the stream and I name drop you several times, please don't be offended. I was just talking about earlier about how you read Windhaven and I might reread Windhaven as well, even though Windhaven is fresh in my mind. And once you finish reading it. I was like, oh yeah, Becky and I should totally do a collab on Windhaven without actually asking permission from you first if you wanted to do that. So sorry about all the times I dropped your name here throughout this stream, but if you would be interested, definitely let me know. Send me a Discord message. Hey Becky, the gang is here, and true JC. Yes, Eric. It's very complicated, but it's like you could go one way or another with Bloodraven or Maekar. I think in the short term, Bloodraven would be better, but in the long term, Maekar would probably give you more of that long term respect, like years after Eris's death. Did you give me a shout out? OMG, yes, we should do a collab starting it next week. Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on Windhaven. And actually, Eric, I think Windhaven, you might actually like... Actually, Eric, so here's the thing. If you love Fire and Blood, I think you would like Fever Dream more. So, Eric, I think Fever Dream, like George R. R. Martin's Fever Dream is an Eric book. Whereas if you're more of a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms person, then Windhaven is your George R. R. Martin preferred book. So, Eric, I think you would love Fever Dream, and Becky, I think you'll love Windhaven. So that's definitely like my barometer. It's like if you love Fire and Blood more than the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, then Fever Dream might be your go-to. If you love a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms more than Fire and Blood, then Windhaven might be your go-to. So yes. But yeah, we should coordinate, but after you finish reading. Yeah, JC, I genuinely ended the video with I don't know. Both have merit, but in the end, Eris, just like Bloodraven, more so he could just read. That's true. So like with Bloodraven, you definitely might have more opportunities for peace because no one's going to want to mess with you when your Hand of the King is this magic wielding sorceress villain. Like no one wants to mess with you then. So you have more opportunities to just kind of read your books. So I think in that instance, as a Hand of the King, Bloodraven would be better. But again, in the long term, like after the fact, I think people would look back more respectfully at Eris if Maekar was his Hand of the King. If Eris could even keep the throne, though, because with Maekar, you're not guaranteed to keep the throne because he's not as good at warfare as Bloodraven. So we'll see. A nice water break. Oh, and the other time I mentioned your name, Becky, was when we were talking about how we're going to have a House of the Dragon Season 3 live stream. The live stream discussions that we have planned, hopefully have planned, to do in June, for June through August, for the 8 weeks that the Season 3 of House of the Dragon will air. I'm looking forward to your thoughts, actually, on I know you're intending on rewatching the first 2 seasons of House of the Dragon. I'm keen on hearing your thoughts from a book reader's perspective and on the perspective of someone who's also watched the series already one time through, to see how your thoughts might potentially change, well, with the information that we have now. But that'd be very keen to hear. I'd be very keen to hear, and then especially in the lead up to Season 3. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm expecting a lot of crash outs. I'm expecting Ricky to crash out, expecting Grease to crash out. I'm expecting me to crash out, honestly, for House of the Dragon Season 3. I feel like you might be the more like balanced of us, the one that kind of keeps in line. Like Ricky, myself, and Grease will be like, this sucked and blah, 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 like Rage Against the Machine. And Becky, you might have like a more balanced, nuanced take on Season 3 and be like, well, guys, actually calm down. It's not that bad. Like we got this. So I'm glad you're going to be part of the crew, because if it was just Ricky, Eric, and myself, oh man, it'd be chaos. Eric, we would never be in this situation if Daemon Blackfire just became the king. Just say, yeah. Oh no, I mean, agreed. Like, given the options that I had between Bloodraven and Maekar, I'm picking the lesser of the two poisons. But we would not even have this problem if Daemon Blackfire was alive. That is correct. And on that topic, I'm also hopefully excited to see what they do with Sir Eustace Osgrey and all the stuff pertaining to Daemon Blackfire and the backstory there with Season 2 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I hope they do it justice, but I'm still looking forward to it. Becky, thank you for all the free advertising for me in the stream. Of course, I'm here to help my friends. I only watched House of the Dragon once, so I can't remember a lot of Season 1, only the big stuff. So I'm interested to see how I feel on a rewatch. So I've watched it twice, actually. I watched it once as it was going week to week, and then I rewatched it, like binged it all in one go, Season 1. And when I binge watched it, I think I enjoyed it more than when I was watching it week to week. So I think on a second watch through, you might enjoy it more, but we'll see. Metal Mass, I'm wondering what they do with Otto in Season 3. Oh, Otto Hightower? Yeah. Do I want to spoil this? I'd be keen to see how his fate differs from the book, because he's in a different location in the show than in the book. But I think his fate might be the same, because there was an image that was released of, well, I don't want to say, but there was an image that was released that led me to believe that, like, okay, even though the location of Otto Hightower might be different, the story he experiences might be the same. So we'll see. I'm too positive about bad TV shows sometimes. That's okay, Becky. I'm too negative about good TV shows. So, like, Night of the Seven Kingdoms at the end of the day was probably a good TV show, but I really went hard on episode 6. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what did they do to me? Like, the 1 minute scene, the 10-second scene at the end with Maekar really infuriated me, even though most of the episode was good. I was just like, what the heck? And I just focused on that 10-second thing I didn't like. Whoa. I'm on my redemption arc. I will be the voice of reason. All right. Eric and Becky, you both will be the voices of reason. And it's just me and Ricky that'll be crashing out with each other. We'll take that. We'll take that. Did you see the casting for season 2? Maz says, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I saw who they casted as Rohan Weber. And, so that's all I'll say on that. I'm like, yeah, she's perfect. She is. So yes, I did see, and I'm looking forward to how they act their parts. But as far as what they look like, no complaints here. Rohan makes me question my sexuality, to be honest. It's like Marjorie all over again. Oh yeah. Oh, Natalie Dormer. Oh my gosh. Natalie Dormer's Marjorie and Rohan Weber together. Oh, whew. I mean, I'm attracted to. I'm just gonna shut up. But anyway, as someone who is a straight heterosexual man, these two make me. Whew, it's a good time. Maz, is he? He could have just been in Flea Bottom on a bender since he got fired. The finale was him in a drunk tank. See, that's interesting, because I thought Otto Hightower was imprisoned by the Beesbury, or at least it seemed like he was imprisoned by the Beesburys there at the end of season 2. I don't recall if we saw him in the season 3 teaser trailer, but it'll be interesting to see what he's doing. But I still think I don't want to go into spoilers, but his story that was in the book, the ultimate end line for his story will be the same as it is in the TV show, despite potentially different locations, but we'll see. Yes, we are Eric. Yes, we are Eric, indeed. Eric, no, Becky is becoming Becky the Cruel. It's all about the character development in our streams. We might have more than House of the Dragon 3. I also hated the Maekar change at the end of episode 6. Matthew, yeah, I hated the Maekar change. It was just not, I hated it for a multitude of reasons, but Eric, that'd be really interesting character development for Becky if she starts out super positive on season 3, and then at the end of it, she's actually the one that's the most hardcore, what have they done? What have they done to these characters? That'd be a side of Becky I would not have expected, but I'd be very keen to see that transformation take place into Becky the Cruel. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting turnaround. No, that was a joke. I think the Beesburys are most okay. I got you. Sorry, I'm not good at picking up on sarcasm, or not sarcasm. I'm potential jokes in the stream, on the stream chat. I when someone's talking to me in person, I'm able to pick up better on sarcasm and people joking than I am on written text. Becky, I also was not a fan of the Maekar change. But see, Becky, you were very balanced in your take. You were very well, it's not a change that I agree with, but I can see what's going on here. You were very down to earth about it. Whereas, I don't know, I think it just, when I watched it for the first time, I don't know what happened. I think it just triggered me. It triggered something within me that I was I just did not like it whatsoever. And I just went off. I went off on Grease's stream, and I feel so bad. Grease has since then made the recommendation that I should clip it and make a short out of it here on YouTube, or just clip it as a video. But I honestly don't want to, because I don't want to become that guy that freaks out about everything and is a super negative Nancy. I like to think that I'm a bit more balanced than that, but I don't know, maybe it will be a fun video, but I just don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the everything's wrong, blah, blah, blah kind of guy. JC, that was you for season 2, Lamal. The balanced approach. Yeah, I think I just was less, I don't know. But then at first I was kind of like, well, this could be okay. But then all that stuff came out afterward with George R. R. Martin saying that, this wasn't his show anymore, that Ryan Condal was doing stupid stuff. And then I don't want to call this person out, but one of the writers for House of the Dragon wrote a book, and I read the book that was written by this House of the Dragon writer. And the book itself has nothing to do with House of the Dragon, but I read the book, and in my opinion, it was pretty bad. And so then all of a sudden it made sense. It's like, oh, like the show was not ideal because the writers aren't ideal. So that gave me kind of less confidence going into season 3, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe these writers have grown over these past 2 years. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Fire and brimstone. Yes. Expect fire and brimstone on our live streams if things get that bad. Oh, I'm excited. I was bounced because there's a lot of Maekar lovers out there and I didn't want to get hate in my comments. That's true, Becky. You do get a lot of, it probably has more to do with your gender, unfortunately, but the internet is a very sexist place. So even if it was, unfortunately, if it was a man saying this, they might not have received as many hate comments, but because you're a female content creator on this space that is predominantly male dominated, it's unfortunate that you'll get just all sorts of weird hate comments about it and people will freak out and it's so dumb. I'm sorry you have to put up with that. It's so just not cool, but you should still let yourself be yourself be heard. You should just still put your full self out there, be like, actually, no, I hated Maekar. Suck it, male audience. But we'll see. The toxic butterflies. Yes, Maz, the toxic butterflies post. Eric, JC says that, but yet that was my favorite part of the stream. Also, I am the opposite of Becky. I invite the hate with my takes. Eric, you are such a troll sometimes. I love it. I love it. I honestly think you should keep trolling. Just troll the trolls. I love it. So, Maz, I think they had way too many people with their spoons in the pot that weren't communicating. That's true. Season 2 was definitely a symptom of HBO doing budget cuts, but more importantly than that, a lot of cooks in the kitchen. A lot of cooks who frankly aren't the best cooks in the kitchen. So yeah, it unfortunately created a product that at the end of the day wasn't ideal. There's a lot of women haters out there, as I've unfortunately learned. So scared for my Fellowship of the Ring review. I might not look at my comments for that video. Haha. Yeah, I think you should just let yourself be heard, regardless of what people think. And if you do tend to get a lot of hate comments, I would either just not look at them, or I wouldn't turn off your comments per se, because then people will be like, oh, Becky can't take criticism, blah, blah, blah. But you might be, but you're doing it for your own health and sanity. But I would say you could leave them on, but just don't, just whenever you get notifications and the little notification bell, just don't look at it. Let me click on it to clear out the notification number and just don't look at it. Because yeah, you might have to do that for your own health and sanity, and that's totally fair. That's totally valid. Eric loves stirring the pot. Eric sure does love stirring the pot. That's why we love him. Eric definitely keeps stirring that pot. I love it. Maz, sometimes you got to spice it up a little bit. That's true. You know what, Eric? I feel like there's one of these days, you might just be like I'm the advocate. You might do one of these things where you're like, you know what, JC, I'm going to be the devil's advocate. Anything you say, I'm going to say the exact opposite. I'll be like, oh, I love Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And you'll be like, actually, I hate Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Or I might say which I think you like it, but it's your least favorite of the three. Or I might say something like, I loved Project Hail Mary. Spoilers for my upcoming book review. And you'll be like, actually, JC, I hated Project Hail Mary. And you're doing that on purpose just to troll me. I think that'd be so much fun. It probably, I don't know, it might get annoying after a bit, but in the short term, it'd be a lot of fun. Absolutely, Eric. It's fun poking the bear. I would never say that's okay. That's fair. Two Towers is great. The book and the movie as well. I like all the Lord of the Rings books. Sorry, Becky. Eric thrives from the spice, keeps things entertaining. It is a very spicy meatball. That is very true. Very for sure. My unpopular opinion is that Fire and Blood is not a good book, and it is a different source to adapt. That being said, I think the writers did a poor job on season 2. Matthew, I think that's a pretty fair take. it's much harder to adapt a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms where you have people like characters actually speaking lines of dialogue that you can then rip straight from the book and put onto the screen than it is to take a book that is essentially a summary of events and kind of fill it out and stretch it out to encompass 1 hour long episodes. So that's totally fair and valid. At the same time, like you said, the writers, with what they had, they still did not as good of a job as they could adapting season 2 because they outright changed, and not that changes are bad, but they changed it for the worse, things that happen in the book. And it's just like, oh, and then they added their own things that George R. R. Martin would never agree with, like the Helena thing and the Damon thing. It's just like, nah, come on, get out of here, writers. JC April, I have an April Fool's video I gotta send you. Okay. Send me a message on Discord. I look forward to it. I've never read the Lord of the Rings books. Really, Maz? Interesting. So Lord of the Rings is a great read, but it's definitely an older 1950s style English reading. And it's not that it's not that you can't read. I mean, like you can definitely get it, but it is a tad slower. It's more like a lot of the stuff that like the movie kind of cuts out a lot of like the just wandering through the Shire and being like, oh, we're gonna go see Tom Bombadil just wandering through the forest. Oh, hey, like Sam, look at these mushrooms. Let's pick these mushrooms. Oh, wandering through the forest. The movie kind of cuts out a little bit of that. A lot of that actually. So the books are a tad slower than the movies, but they're still worthwhile books. I very much enjoyed all of them. So definitely read them if you get a chance, but don't force yourself to read them if you're not super interested in reading them. Fire and Blood is goated. I will accept no slander of it. You tell him, Eric. You tell him. I'm here for the spice. All right. Oh, the problem with April Fool's videos about A Song of Ice and Fire is we've had so long between books, there's no idea or theory that some mad lad hasn't thought of. That's true. I've seen so many like people who think they're like super clever and being like, oh, haha, Tyrion is a fetus. Ha ha ha. Oh, what a clever theory that is. And it's like they're like the 50th person to come up with that. Like Tyrion is a Targaryen fetus or, time traveling fetus or whatever. And it's just like, guys, like we've heard this all before. Like, oh, Rhaegar is actually Lyanna, or like Cold Hands is Dunk the Lunk. It's just like even before this reveal about Dunk potentially still being alive, people still had that Cold Hands being Dunk the Lunk theory. So it's not a new theory. So every theory people could potentially have come up with, it's already been done before. So there's nothing new here, but that's so 2016. Yes, that is so 2016. The Tyrion is a time traveling fetus. Anyway, guys, I've been going for an hour and 23 minutes here, so I think I'm going to call it here, but thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. Thank you so much for supporting me this past month of February. I look forward to seeing you guys here for the month of March. Again, we've got Project Hail Mary coming up, book review next Friday, followed by a movie review after that, potentially followed by a collab with Becky Does Blog, who I have not asked permission at all that we should collab on this, but I'll ask her permission here in this video or on Discord. Followed by a book review on This Is How You Lose a Time War, followed by Dungeon Crawler Carl, followed by House of the Dragon, all the good stuff that we've got going on. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for everything. Becky will definitely collab. Okay, thank you so much, Becky. I'm sorry I said your name out loud. Eric, I look forward to collabing with you on House of the Dragon stuff as well. Thanks so much for joining me, guys, and I hope everyone here has a good afternoon / rest of your evening. Bye, everybody. Advocate out.